welcome. This is Kevin, also known as AWOL, and we are back with another Making It from a Photo. This time it's number 15, and this is a photo that I saved aside a long time ago. I like the colors. I like the Celtic-y under-over thing that's going on here. I liked a lot about it. But one of the things that concerned me was it seemed that there was a lot of distance between these different points and stuff here. And then it kind of got me wondering why they kind of laid the bracelet the way they did. Were they trying to hide the fact that they couldn't repeat the whole pattern all the way down? So I'm going to kind of show you some stuff. I just spent the last, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes or so trying to take a look at this. And okay, I'll show you what I've figured out so far. As you know, when I try to count my knots, I don't count it like this. Let me zoom in so you can see. I don't count it 1 row, 2 row, 3 rows. I think that's, I don't know, it just harder to do, right? I count it this way: 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So it's just a little bit easier. It just makes a little bit more sense to me. I know that the other websites and stuff do it differently, and that's fine. You can take their number and divide it by half when you're trying to do this. If we counted going from this knot right here at where the things join at this lower part, and we count from there to there, right? The other end of this part of the design, the part that we care about, it's 28. So I was trying to figure out, is that going to work with our pattern here? And no, of course it's not. There is like 21 from the top part here to the middle of the bracelet. So I got curious because this template that I'm working with is based on doubling up the string. What if we were to go with one of my templates? This isn't as many strings, but this is based on doing it with the thread singular. So I counted out, and it turns out there is 28 from the very top peak here going down to the middle line, which would sound like it's a win. However, that's counting from up here, right? So that's considerably higher. So even if we went single stranded, this bracelet basically exceeds what we could really do to make it fit. So you basically, you'd have to cut your strings extra long, even possibly longer than what I normally do. And you would do it in the single strand. Let's see. So extra long, well, maybe with the single strand, maybe you get away with the regular 1/3 lengths. Single stranded, I'm not even sure like if all the colors, like if there's enough of them or whatever, if it does actually work out for you. So it's a little bit concerning. So I have decided that I'm going to go ahead and just do it with the doubled up thing here. And yeah, we'll just see how that goes. So, okay, the first thing I need to do is I need a piece of this to be able to look at while I'm working on it. So I'm going to rotate it around. And I'm going to rotate it way around like this to make it super easy for me. That looks good. And then I'm just going to take a bit of what I need and copy that. Come over here, paste it. Let's make sure this fits off to the side. That's cool, and make it to a new layer. So this has a lot of string, and this is going to be really sort of wowzers, right? Let's move this down, put it close to the middle here. So obviously we're going to just try to do just the top half, and we have guidelines in all the different spots from this peak, and the down the center here. And that's going to help out a whole lot. I might as well just use the colors that they have. At least for the pattern part of it. Well, we'll see. This green one, I'm not 100% sure. There's like so many different shades. I guess, see, that's like kind of close to our, there we go. Yeah, that's also kind of close. But that's the very center dot. Oh, wait, I got to go to this layer. I'm like, why is that not working? All right, so that's our center dot. The next one out is this sort of, it's like a reddish color. So that's that. That's pretty easy. The next one is this tan. Once we have all of our colors selected, we will take from what we have painted over here, because if you keep trying to take from here, you'll keep getting different shades, and that would get really annoying. Okay, so this one comes back up 2, 3, 4, and I think 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it comes right to the center line. So right off the bat, the guidelines are like, seriously, they're just going to help us out so much. All right, so now this reddish color is basically, it just goes all the way around the outside of this. See, I have no idea how this one is actually going to end up at the top of this bracelet. And like I said, it's really possible from that photograph that, you know, it didn't end well for them, but they liked this part, you know, the part that they showed, and that's exactly why it is the way that it is. And I'm not going to lie, I don't blame them at all for that. That totally makes perfect sense to me. So let's see, it comes off the middle going this way a bit. Coming up here. So let's see. This green is sort of that way. And then, yeah, so there's 2 here, and then it just sort of goes up a whole bunch this way. Yeah, this is this is going to get confusing for sure. I already just know for a fact that I'm in for a wild ride. Okay, so this is the little diamond that's right there. There is one of these little tans in the middle of it. This right here comes across this way. There is a red that boxes in the green on this side. All right. So there was a green that was outside of all of this here that came up the edge, then came inwards for a little ways. And it's the red that goes around it that sort of blocks off this one. Right. And we know that there's a little diamond again here. So that's cool. And that little diamond, oh yeah, so that's what cuts, whoops. That's what cuts that part off. We also have the darker red color. It's kind of like a reddish brown that comes around that. Perfect. So this one is supposed to have gone underneath and is coming up this way. And it's 2 is boxed in. And this is part of that path, and this is there. Awesome. This is actually going rather well. Like, I'm honestly kind of fairly pleased with myself at the moment. There is another tan out here that has the reds going all the way around it. And then the green that was supposed to have gone underneath this comes up and out over and is what joins back to this one. So there is a lot of sorting this all out. And but so far, off to a great start. This is working. Okay, let's take a look at the other side. We had a green that came from on the right. There's another one that matches it that's on the left. It's over here. So it comes around, and then it's going to go underneath the line right here. So like that, right? So this one came over, and this kind of goes out a little ways. So how far out does it go? Let's give a few more of those. We've got, so the green that goes underneath it then comes straight up to up here. And then this one is the one that goes this way. So yeah, Celtic-y things like this can get really super intense. And yeah, I think, so this is this one here. So we have another little tan right there. And this is what kind of comes around that. This comes this way. This comes up into the center. This green comes out and comes down to meet this one. And then the nice dark color comes around that. I wonder what colors I'll actually use for this. Because like I said, I think it was the colors that actually attracted me to this whole thing in the first place. But that said, I don't know. I honestly, when I'm making this part, I might be thinking about all the cool, like, what could I do with it stuff. But then something else happens when I go to pull the strings and I start looking at all the different possible combinations and all the cool stuff that is available. And yeah, I mean, I just kind of go crazy with it. I encourage that. I I really do. I seriously encourage everybody to have fun and get creative and do your thing with it. So this is the bulk of the one thing that I really liked about this whole pattern, this whole design thing here. And obviously we don't have a lot of room to do more of it. But that's not to say that we can't do something interesting. And I'm going to, I think I'm going to try to start putting in the underlying strings, figure out what's going on with it, and see if we can do something besides just these little diamonds here. Because they would just lead for an awkward start and an end to it. And I think we can do better than that. So let's see what else we have going on kind of outside of this. We have the tan is out like this. Oh, I might have actually. It looks like. It looks like I counted out the strings wrong. That's okay, I guess. And that goes all the way to the top. So this is like 32 strings. It looks like 30. Maybe they did 34s because, and here's the difference. Can you see this? There's this little red came out with a little tiny dot of the yellow in the corners, and on mine there isn't room for that dot. So that's slightly different. I don't think it's going to matter to our overall thing. I'm not even sure if I had a template made up for that. So it would have been 17 string, which is 17, 7, 14, 34? Something, I don't know. My brain is not. I can't do this and math at the same time, especially not without a calculator. All right. Let's start up here like this was the beginning of our bracelet. And start filling these in. Because like I said, we can totally play with this. We can totally make whatever we want. We don't have to stick to the photo. We're not obligated in any way. So this most likely goes straight down. In fact, knowing that we're not obligated to stick to a pattern gives us a whole big, huge, wide ability to just do anything we want. I mean, it could go, you could go into chevrons after this if you really felt like it. If you just wanted this center part to be this really amazing thing and then just let the colors come out in whatever order they are in and just do chevrons to the end, that would be a look. Would it be a good look? I don't know. I that's subjective. Um, but you could. So yeah. And that's the thing about people who only ever look at patterns and never make them is I think they're missing out on that opportunity to see what is possible. They know it's possible because they can look up new numbers and find new patterns and be inspired by the things that other people have done. I, however, have a certain kind of thrill out of being experimentative and finding out what is possible. My thought for this is if the colors work out in my favor, we will continue with the sort of Celtic look by creating other kind of knots that are sort of kind of collectively above this area that we've created, right? So maybe something, maybe another one of these little diamond things kind of is over here, but then we create something that connects these two sides together. And I don't know. We'll find out soon. All right, let's see. What's the next color? So if you're wondering, like, how did I know this was going to be this color? Because it sort of had to be. Like this string coming through here, that's what you need. And just like that, we know that this color will have come through to be at this part here. So it's kind of a bit like detective work. But it's also a bit of common sense. It's there's going to be a bunch of strings that we don't necessarily know. However, we can use those as a way to try to build up the things that we want to do with this. I don't know if that made sense. How can I put this? Okay, so see this color here is coming along straight, and then I'm going to change its direction right here. Now, there is a possibility that this went straight down and then it hit here and then it came back out and it's what's down here. That's a probably most likely. If though this it doesn't have to, like this string that comes from over here comes down and also turns, that opens up this one right here to be a different color. And if we need that color to be something in particular to be able to create the pattern that we want, we can use that to our advantage. So, and that's pretty much why I start up here at the top. Because these are the ones that are for sure have to be the way they are. Otherwise, nothing works. The ones down towards the bottom, you'll find out what they have to be or what they don't have to be based on what's left. So this is going to be a pretty big bracelet, I'm guessing. Like, I'm not sure. See, that could have gone out straight as well. Yeah, there's some spots here that are going to kind of have me questioning. I'm going to guess this one here had to be the dark color because you need to have the dark to come over here to do this. And that will also take care of this one. So, yeah. I mean, I think that was a bit of my experience to know that that's a thing. Which I can't necessarily teach experience, right? I can teach how different aspects of this stuff work. But sometimes it comes down to having done these things before. So yeah, it's most likely that most all this stuff is just going straight through. It explains a lot. This actually kind of reminds me, I did a Celtic bag a long time ago, and it's got a lot of the same sort of vibe to it. Yeah, see it's just goes straight. And that gets us to here. So let's do that on the other side instead of turning this here, which also means this one is this way. This comes down. So I'm not sure what's going to happen with the kumi for this, right? Because 16 strings is also not normal for a kumi. I'm sure Mandy will come up with something. We have played with enough of the kumi strings in different orders that we've been able to come up with just so many things. And I have to say, like the more that I keep trying to challenge her with, strings and colors and whatever, she too is just becoming more and more apt at coming up with new designs that like nobody has ever done before. So yeah, I think that's kind of fun. All right, so that one goes that way. I gotta say, I'm kind of actually looking forward to making this. Um, it's one of those ones where the pattern isn't repeating itself an awful lot, so it's just gonna feel like it went quickly, even though it's huge by comparison to like a lot of other things. Um, I don't know. There's something that about that where you know you're you're happily working along, and so next thing you know, like, oh, halfway point, and then you're working along, and oh, it's already over. I like that. And I'm pretty wound up about the whole idea, and I know this because my leg is going at like 90 miles an hour. Um, but you guys can't see that. So, yeah. Oh, hang on. It's time to take the meds. Almost forgot. All right. So again, we can see that this had to be the green coming through here in order to be the strings that actually make up this part along here. And then following them down, that's kind of easy. So I know this part isn't exactly like the most exciting part of the whole designing. Yeah, see, we can get away with turning this one. I'm still pretty sure that that one out there is supposed to be a green. Um, but we can find out later on if we need it to be something else. So like I was saying, this isn't the real exciting part. I think the slightly more exciting part will be me trying to figure out what we're going to do with what's left of this design. So I'm just curious, like, I wonder how many of you would go to this kind of length to have a design that um, is symmetrical. Would you guys like have taken a look at the pattern that originally made this design and said, oh, there's 28 to, for, the length or whatever, and that's too long for the strings that I'm using, so I'll just skip it? Or would you be like, oh, I'll let it just end wherever it ends, and that, just accept that as that's how it works? What do you guys normally do with yours, is I guess the question. Because for me, getting it all symmetrical, it really is a thing. I really much prefer that. I think that's kind of an understatement, to be honest with you. I really, for me, um, it really does matter. It really, to me, it just shows effort and it shows intent and it shows that you cared. And um, mind you, there's I've done plenty of patterns that are the kind that, they just start at the top and continue on all the way down. That it's just goes in one direction, zigzags or chevrons, that kind of stuff, where it just the whole thing continues until you run out, dovetails, that kind of stuff. And those are cool, you know, but not all patterns work like that. And the ones that, such as this, there's there's an obvious thing about, you know, should it repeat? Should it not repeat? I think if you tried to imagine this shifted up to this little dot here, we would be like two rows off of from the end of it or whatever, right? Um, it would be weird if we just made the diamonds like this one had. There's just a few rows off. So then what? Just add on the chevrons? Maybe. I don't know. That's kind of okay, I guess. I just, I suppose that would totally have worked if I was kind of new to it and I was approaching this and not sure um, what to do. That would probably be what would probably worked out. Just go ahead with a couple diamonds up there, and then just a couple chevrons up above it. And call it a day. Because at that point, nobody's going to kind of fault it. You'll still have your cool design in the middle, and it'll sort of look like that was all how it was meant to go. All right. So the next color is green. So I'm just kind of curious, in your guys' mind, is this intermediate or is this advanced? What I'm teaching here, like how to work out a pattern like this. Um, because to me, a lot of this one isn't like the super hardest. So it feels a little bit more intermediate, but maybe my that idea for me is a little bit tainted based on experience. So I'm curious what to you guys, what does this feel like? Is this the advanced stuff? I think if I was going to try to like turn around and make this a double, I think very much that would be advanced. But we are not doing that today. We are also not likely to be doing it tomorrow, so just a heads up. Although I have to say, something like this, would probably make for a very pretty bag, honestly. Like that going around the bag would be very pretty. These, if you imagine when you double it, this part here is just going to make diamonds on either side. Yeah, I think it'd be pretty. I was going to say, does this have to be? It does. See, there's the tan down here. So that's how it gets down there. Because I was going to say, it's not needed for here because this already has the color coming through, and it's not needed for here because one came through, but it is needed further down. So. All right, so there's that. The next one, yeah, the next one has to be this dark. Even though like this knot was already covered, this one here that goes over top of the tan was not. So this one had to be the dark. And as you can see, the further we get along, the fewer of the blue lines that we have, the more obvious that all this stuff just works out. So that goes to there. Oh, and we're just left with one string, and it really is likely to have been the green one. Let's just take a look here, see if there's anything else that we might want to do. So if the green is here. So in this one, they had this tan just goes pretty much straight up this way. And this just becomes a big diamond over here. If we do that, we only have the little square areas up here left to do anything with. Yeah, let's make this a green. Because we have the dark on either side of it. And maybe we can kind of bring in, whoops. We can bring in the over under stuff can start over here at the edge. And we can kind of play around with it and kind of match it up with whatever else there is up above it. So yeah, here's where it starts getting creative, complicated. I don't know. It gets exciting for sure. Okay, so the first dark one is going to come out and kind of go this way. And then the green is going to come up. I'm not sure. If this, okay, so if this green comes over top of it, then this one ends up being dark, right? See, that's two dark come in, two dark goes out. This green comes up through this away. This dark goes out that way. I'm not sure where we're going over here yet. So first let's fill in some of these other colors, figure out what strings we have and where. Okay, so here's the thing. So we have this tan that's coming this way, and we have a tan that just went there. So it's likely this came up underneath, and that one has to be a tan. And in which case, we can use what we've already been playing with and make the dark come all the way out and around that. So this is dark coming that way. And then this green comes up this way. So yeah, we are in the weeds fast. Like seriously. Like there is so much going on already. Okay, so this green here that's coming upwards, this one, is it just went underneath. That means it would go over the next one, which happens to be this one that's out here, right? Ooh. Either that or this one just kind of hides along underneath. So we've got or let's do this. Let's cut that off, right? Let's make it not look like it actually joins to our piece over here. Let's make it look like it's all something new coming in. So if this was coming up and around, then this would be blocked off. Right? So we would change this to this, and then it just sort of looked like it went under. So there are so many possibilities at this point, guys. Like, honestly, if you were following along and making yours and you got to this point and you wanted to just stop my video and see what you could come up with, wouldn't blame you. You know, this is where anything can happen. And again, I don't know what I'm going to do with that part right there, so I'm not sure if that's going over or under. Hang on a second, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. That was just a quick pause because drinking too many fluids here. But I came up with an idea while I was away, and that is I can come up here and go to image and duplicate, and now we have two versions of what we're working on. And this gives me the possibility of trying something different as well. So let's kind of go back to what we were doing here. So this is a green on green. And why I think this kinda, well, oh, maybe it doesn't. I was going to say maybe this sort of had to be green over here because, but it doesn't, does it? This can be a tan and this can be a dark. And then you just have a green coming in over here. Ooh, that does change things a bit. In fact, we can even make these light this way. And then this green comes up. Aha, wait. Then, so this one came up, and then this one is crossing over it. Right? This changes the flavor a bit. Because I kind of didn't like the whole idea of it just coming straight into this. Like it sort of just ends abruptly where everything else in here is contained within. So, yeah. All right, so let's take a look. String directions and all that up here. What do we got? We're getting right up to the edge there. The tan comes through this way. The red comes around that. The green. Can come around that. That's sort of cool. I like that. My only problem is we still have some greens down here. What's going to come of them? Especially there. Why there? Well, this green is coming this direction. And this green was coming this direction. And if you have two greens coming together, you have no choice but to make the knot green. So, what's gonna come of this? Oh, wait. What if those go green? What if that's dark? What if those go that way? That goes dark. So this one came up from this edge, came back, goes up this way, comes looping around, and it will come out and meet its counterpart from the other side. How about that? That would make this dark come all the way to here. This dark would come all the way to there. This light would come all the way up to there. This light would come through this way. Oops. This dark is here and here, coming this way and this way. And then what? What's the next color here? I don't know. Oh, it's probably the green, isn't it? Because the green was coming through. That's interesting. That is interesting. All right, let me just so we can kind of look at it, I will fill this in after, but let's just take a quick, fast look at what this overall would look like. And then the dark comes down to there. This green goes in a way to the center line. Back out this way. Back to there. Back to there. So again, the guidelines made that a whole lot easier. Wait, I've done something wrong. Oh, I see it. I was going to say, where's our diamond in the center? This light came out to there. This was outside of it. Yeah, once we have it figured out, obviously it goes a whole lot faster. So this is this, then this was here. This is the green that comes out and joins up in the middle. There's the dark. The light. Dark. And the green. So yeah, that kind of accelerated up there pretty quickly, didn't it? And that actually looks pretty cool. That's kind of exciting, actually. All right, let's grab our tool, grab the top half, Control C, Control V, the flip tool, flip vertically, the move tool to bring this down. Then we can take a look at it. So this is our attempt number 1. And yeah, I like that. That's very cool. However, we have this one. And now I'm kind of curious. Let's see. This went all the way up to the edge. And that means this one went like that. What did they do with the green? This green string here. it seems that ours is different in the sense that it wants to do this up here, which is different. And I don't see a way to kind of get around that. But by doing that, then this becomes a diamond. Something seems off and I don't know what it is. It's still going to do the thing though, because this green here comes to this and it'll come out and it'll be the one out here. Whoops. Back that up a bit. This was supposed to be like that. Then the green is inside. So I had mentioned before that it seemed to me that the easier way was just to add in a couple of rows. And when I went off to the toilet there, I got to thinking about that in my head and was like, why wouldn't I just try to show what the simpler way turns into? And I realized, you know what, that's a pretty darn good idea. So, seeing how, again, it's literally just 2 rows off. And with a little bit of work, I can put both of these patterns together into my website, and you guys can actually take their choice, pick whichever your favorite is. I should actually do a poll or something to find out like which one you guys are more likely to try out. So the next color out is going to be this dark. And that's true on this side as well. And this isn't me just like coloring in stuff. Like I'm literally looking to see where this is coming from, right? So this line here comes all the way up and just goes straight through. And then this line here came up and it went through this way. So that's how I know that that is a dark row. It wasn't just wishful thinking or something crazy. So now the question is, what color comes up here? And, well, it's green. This is going to come straight through. This one is going to come that way. It's the green. And then this would have been here, because this came this way. So our last row is green. I could see that the bracelet would not be that much shorter if you actually skipped this row at the end. And that might make it just slightly more aesthetic. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% hating that. Let's do our magic here. Control C, Control V. Flip tool. Oops. A little bit too far. There we go. We anchor that, put them together. So this is our other version. So the question is, which one? Oops, let's trying to get this like kind of lined up how the other one was. There we go. So this one or this one? Gosh. Honestly, I'm now not sure which one I want to make. This is really cool. This one is really cool. I really like it. This one has a little touch of being a little bit more complicated. There's something else going on. Makes you want to expand and see where the rest of it is going. This one, it kind of it is its own thing. It doesn't beg the question of, where does it go from here? Although this one would actually make for a really great bag like this. If you can imagine putting on, 4 more versions of this side by side, it's another good look. So yeah, I have no idea, guys. Let me know in the comments which one that you guys prefer. What should we call it? Should we call the diamonds versus something? I don't know. I don't even know what to call them. Okay. We'll call it, this is number 1 because we did it first, and this is number 2. So in the comments, let me know number 1, number 2. And let me get out of here, man. This has been a long video. Obviously, before I go, though, I need to thank my Patreon supporters who make all this stuff possible. Yeah, they're going to help me get string to actually put this thing together. I'm honestly not sure which one I'm going to try. But yeah, I will finish up all of the underlying strings, get the patterns ready for you guys. The PDFs will be available on my website, aka AWOL.com. You guys can go over there and check it out. And that would be awesome. All right, guys, have a good one. And as always, don't get your strings in a bunch.